How much money should I keep in my emergency fund?
Yeah, this has been coming up a lot, and people are looking for a definitive answer. And so I'll say definitively, there is no definitive answer. That's important to understand because I've had several situations where people have said to me, "Well, you know, somebody in my life, whoever that is, has told me I have too much money in cash. Too much money in the bank. I need to be investing that. I
Hmm.
need to get out there and put that up out there. And how much money should I have in in the bank?" And so there's rules of thumb. 3 months worth of your outflow, 12 months worth of your
Yeah.
outflow. I've never seen that come out in any format whatsoever. It is all emotional. And to
Hmm.
me, it's how much money do you need to have in the bank so that when you go to sleep at night and the market is falling apart, you think to yourself, well, I'm glad I got X amount in the bank right
Hmm.
now, and I feel comfortable with that. That's it. Because what will happen if you lower that threshold too much for yourself? And again, that could be 5,000 or 500,000. It's a different dollar amount for everybody. But when you lower that amount that you have in your kind of buffer and emergency and mental well-being account too much, you go to bed kind of panicking a bit about what's happening with the market, and that's when you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
You're going to move out of the market, maybe when you shouldn't, you know? And so having that money there allows you to go through some of the trials and tribulations of the market. I mean, let's face it, the market is a roller coaster,
Yeah.
and we have to be able to find a way to buffer that roller coaster. And the amount of money that you have in the banking system, and obviously you probably want to spread it around and not have more than 250 at one institution, in my opinion, with all the things going on, that kind of stuff. But it's just a matter of what you feel. And this is very strongly opinionated by me because I've dealt with this for years. And when I see people that have run down, whether they invested it or spent it, and they've run down their kind of buffer, they just get really on edge,
Yeah.
right? And so you want to get to that point, and it's not about what you make because that's what your other money's for. So if I have 200,000 or 300,000 in the banking system and 2 or 3 million invested, huh, you know. Now, if I only have 2 or 300,000, it's all in the banking system. I might have some troubles,
Hmm.
because that's just they're going to get eaten up. So, you basically don't want everything in the banking system. Although I have seen cases where it's worked. If you have enough money versus your lifestyle, right? You can put it anywhere,
Yeah.
right? And I met a lady once with $1 million in CDs, but she had a very reasonable lifestyle for that. Plan worked out great,
Yeah. As long as these make more money than she needs,
right?
she's good to go.
Yeah. And so, but her lifestyle was a lot more narrow than most, in my opinion. But it worked. She was happy, so that's good. For most of us, we need to have that exposure to the stock market, especially, and maybe the real estate market over time too, at least here, to be able to make sure that we can continue our lifestyle the way that we'd like to throughout our retirement, and make sure we have enough buildup of buffer in that to happen. So that happens because you have that emergency cash buffer in place, and it allows you to then invest the rest, maybe even be a little bit more stock market exposure than you might have. Maybe
Hmm.
you go to 60% from 50% or whatever it is, just because you have this money sitting there that's going to take care of you at least for some period of time. So, again, I don't think there's a hard rule there. It's just kind of when you shut your eyes at night and the market's falling apart, what dollar amount really makes you feel comfortable. If you feel like it's too much, it is. Invest the difference. You know, you're up to 400,000. Used to be at 300. That's a good sign, right? Money's coming in, and so maybe put the other 100 in. So 300 is the number. That feels good with that. So just kind of evaluate that. There's nothing that a financial advisor like me can tell you, or anybody else in your life can tell you either. Now, if you're married, you got to figure that out as a couple.
Yeah.
But if it's your mom, your daughter, or whoever it might be that's telling you, and your friend, or oh, you've got too much money in cash, that's what they feel.
Yeah.
That's not what maybe you feel. It's important what you feel. So that's how I would define that. Definitely, it's a great question. It has come up quite a bit just recently.